Hello, I'm going to be reading a series of short stories. It's from Take Up Your Cross, Lenten Bible Stories for Kids by Dees. An introduction for parents and teachers. The Bible stories in this collection are meant to help kids develop a deeper relationship with God the Father and the Son He sent to die for us, Jesus Christ. The season of Lent is a 40-day journey with Jesus to his death and resurrection on Easter. It is a time of prayer, self-sacrifice, and thinking of others. In this collection, you will find stories from the Old Testament that show the significance of the number 40. There are parables to teach about the 3 pillars of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Most of all, though, you will find short stories about the events leading up to and including Jesus Christ's death on the cross. The stories in this collection will teach kids important lessons about these concepts: temptation and sin, prayer, self-sacrifice, forgiveness, and gratitude. Each of the stories in the collection is very short. They are probably shorter than most bedtime stories for younger kids. They are short because even a brief break of time with the Bible can have an enormous effect on you and your children. You should be able to read each story or hear each story in just a few minutes. This first one's a little bit longer because it's an introduction. The discussions that you have with your kids might be short too, or you may find yourself talking for a long time about the questions that the stories bring up. The reflection questions for each story meant to get kids to remember what they read, but also reflect on how it relates to their lives. Help them understand what happened in each Bible story, but go further and get them to see what God wants them to think about personally as they read or listen. I'm so pleased that you have decided to invite children to experience these stories with you. The best thing about Bible stories is that each time we read them, we experience God speaking to us in new ways. Whether you or your kids are reading these stories again and again, or for listening again and again, or for the first time, open up your hearts to God to see what He wants to reveal to you as you reflect on these words. Now, kids, this is not a picture book. So here's the deal. You need to be the illustrators. So listen very carefully as I read to you, because each of the stories, I bet you can come up with some amazing pictures. You could be the illustrator of that Bible story. An introduction for children. I have a secret for you. Parents don't like punishing their kids. It's true. Now, the author says, I know because I'm a dad, and me personally, I know because I'm a mom. Although I get angry from time to time and even yell at my children, I don't like being angry with them. I don't like punishing them. I don't like yelling. I don't like sending my kids to their rooms. I don't like taking away dessert after dinner or giving them extra chores. But sometimes punishment is important. Kids are less likely to cheat on a test if they know they will be kicked out of school. When a teenager is grounded for staying out too late, they're probably going to think twice about missing curfew again. I have another secret for you. God doesn't like punishing His kids either. He doesn't like punishing His people for their sins. But throughout history, people have continued to disobey God and turn away from Him again and again. There are always consequences for our actions. When we turn away from God's help, life gets worse. When we try to do things alone, we are more likely to fail. We all sin, every one of us. But does God give up on us? No. He sent His only Son to help us. God sent His beloved Son Jesus to suffer and die. It was a punishment for a sin He didn't commit. He was sentenced to death. He carried His cross a long way and then up a hill to die for us. Jesus warned His disciples that He would have to suffer, die, and then rise again. Along with that warning, He told them, if any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Luke 9, verse 23. We can have many opportunities to deny ourselves and suffer in some small way for God and for others. The Bible stories in this collection are meant to help you take up your cross daily. They will help you think about your life and how you can love others as Jesus loved us. He loved us so much that he died for us. The season of Lent is about taking up our crosses and denying ourselves in some small way as we prepare to experience Jesus Christ's death and resurrection during Easter. May God bless you and your families as you read these stories. The first short story for today is Dust to Dust, and that's based on Genesis 2:3. We begin each season of Lent with a day called Ash Wednesday. It is common to have our foreheads marked with ashes as a sign of our desire for mercy. This is the story of God's punishment for Adam and Eve after they ate the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. As you read this story, pay attention to the way God describes death to Adam. When God made Adam in the Garden of Eden, he formed him out of the clay of the ground. He had big plans for Adam, but he also had one important rule. Do not eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you eat the fruit from that tree, you will die. God told him. This command was given to Adam's wife, too, Eve. The serpent, who is the devil, came and tempted Eve. He persuaded her to eat the forbidden fruit. She gave some to her husband, Adam, who ate it as well. They were immediately ashamed of disobeying God. They tried to hide from him, but God found them. You are banished from the garden. You will no longer eat the fruit from the tree of life, God told Adam. Now you must work hard for your food. You must make bread for yourself to eat. Years from now you will die and return to the ground. I made you out of the ground. You are dust, and to dust you shall return. Reflection questions. What punishment did God give Adam for his sin? Why did God tell Adam he is dust, and to dust he shall return? What does it feel like to do something wrong? How can you feel better after hurting or disobeying someone? Why do you think we look to Jesus' cross today as our new tree of life? All right, that is our story for today. I hope you have some great pictures in mind to illustrate this Bible verse.